The Phantom Blade pre-order trailer, the late summer gift that Chinese developer sgame just gave to us as the official start to their marketing campaign leading up to the game's release on October 28th. What did we learn from it? I'll break it all down in this video. These are the top 5 biggest takeaways from the trailer. Let's go. Number 5. Weapons. Sgame has promised over 30 main weapons and 20 secondary weapons will be available for our protagonist, Sol, to use. The 30+ main weapons are unique blades, some traditional single-hand ones, then bigger broadswords and two-handed longswords, and finally, dual-wielding blades. Yes, dual-wielding. The secondary weapons are called Phantom Edges, while the main weapons, what are being called the blades, are used for Sol's primary offensive output. The Phantom Edges are going to be used for crowd control and enemy disruption. Spears, large hammers, and axes, as well as some projectile weapons, like this Dragon Dancer's head that spits fire, and other more traditional guns, such as rifles. We didn't see it in the pre-order trailer, but sgame has confirmed each weapon will have its own skill tree, and because of their distinctness, they will necessitate Sol to have a moveset specific to that weapon and wielding style. And most exciting to hear is that each weapon will have their own ultimate ability, called the Power Surge. The many weapons can be seen emitting certain colors and elemental destruction. This is Sol's ability. I am not sure if this is unique to him or something anyone trained from his clan can do. And speaking of, Sol hails from the Order. After being wrongfully accused of a serious crime, he is being hunted by its members. This is what we see with the boss atop the horse carriage. His name is the Hunt, and he pulls out a bounty, then jumps into battle with our protagonist. Looks like the Hunt also has similar abilities with its dual axes, so I'm assuming some or all people trained within the Order may have this ability. The original release date trailer put out earlier this year explained this as Phantom and Blade being fused together.
Phantom is movement, striking from where none expect. Blade is breath. We channel it into steel, turning any blade into a divine weapon. When Phantom and Blade unite, no enemy stands.
So Phantom is Sol's unique movement ability. This is shown a bunch in the pre-order trailer. He moves in and out of harm's way during the boss fights, which is trailed by the phantom-like energy he emits, known as Sol's Ghost Step ability. He will also be able to channel his breath, what I'm assuming is his energy, like his chi, into steel. This is what turns his armament into divine weapons, including those secondary weapons as well. These two abilities are Phantom and Blade together. An example of this is the first weapon seen when the trailer opens. Sol wields what has already been confirmed to be the Sanguine sword. Sanguine means blood red, derived from the Latin word sanguis. Its steel is permanently stained blood. It has this color before battle with any of Sol's foes. When Sol leaps from the falling stagecoach, he pulls out a secondary short blade and drives it into the cliff. So you can see here it's not one of his Sanguine blades. Quite different. The contrast makes the Sanguine unmistakable. In addition to a single-hand Sanguine, there have already been confirmed dual Sanguine blades and a long one as well. The Sanguine blades are just one type of blade. So where do all the other ones come from? Well, we know Sol is going to be a bit of a kleptomaniac over the course of the campaign, so let's take a look at some of the weapons he'll be taking off the hands of the dead bosses he defeats. Number 4. Fallen Bosses. No, Phantom Blade is not a Souls-like. Sgame CEO Liang Kui-wei, or Soulframe as he's more commonly known as, has already confirmed this. He did not want his game to feature punishment and frequent deaths as part of the core gameplay loop, similar to that of Souls games. Instead, sgame is aiming to capture the idea of giving the gamer the power fantasy of playing as an incredibly gifted blade wielder via Soul. A boss is therefore not going to be punishing us endlessly, as this is not their purpose. Yes, we'll still need to learn their attack moves and likely be dying from time to time. I'll come back to talk about the dying mechanic in the next section, Phantom Blade Zero's story. But the bosses serve a more fun and rewarding purpose than the more traditional Souls-like fare. What sgame is presenting through their bosses is the means for Soul to accumulate his armament of weapons. Every true boss of the game, when defeated, will drop their weapon for Soul to pick up and add to his arsenal. 2 primary weapons, blades, and 2 secondary weapons, edges, can be equipped at once and cycled through based on a cooldown that is required to pass through once a weapon is switched. Therefore, Soul cannot cycle through the 4 equipped weapons whenever he wants. He must abide by the cooldown. So what are some of the boss's weapons that will soon be ours to wield? We see quite a few in the pre-order trailer. The Hunt wields dual axes. Awesome. Then an incredibly hefty 2-handed sword. An even longer green, emerald-toned guandao, the traditional Chinese polearm class of weapon. It's very cool to see Soul pop off that emerald hue of energy here. Then Soul's got these chain-linked Blades of Chaos-inspired weapons that give him incredible reach over these heavies. A single-hand sword Soul throws at the enemy on horseback that is complemented with his Jackie Chan-inspired Drunken Master ability he shows off here. Then a beautifully elegant, heavenly white blade wielded by this ghostly Arctic boss here. He is skewered and tossed around it like nothing. When he faces off against this ice boss, there are a pair of dual-wielding blades strapped to Soul's back. I'm unsure which ones they are, but if you look at his shadow, they have a unique silhouette, signaling some type of curved blade design. Then, as Soul fights the boxing boss, he wields the already confirmed White Serpent and Crimson Viper dual swords. We saw these revealed in the Chinese New Year trailer sgame put out a while back. The boss himself uses some Eevee-like metallic-looking boxing gloves. What up, Stellar Blade community? And then, at this point onward in the trailer, as we get to one boss battle after the next, we can start to see the series of weapons Soul takes from each boss before. Soul now wields the gauntlets, taken from the boxing boss before, in order to pummel this extremely heavy boss here. The sound emanating from the gauntlet's impact is very crisp. Then, moving forward with this boss encounter, Soul now has the large shield at his disposal that was taken from the heavy boss just prior. And now that we see this boss wielding the Blades of Chaos-inspired chain weapons, it confirms that he is where Soul acquired them from when we first saw them in the trailer just moments earlier. You get a clean look at them here as the boss wreaks havoc of green all around Soul. So beautiful. And then, the same goes for this female serpent boss with the White Serpent and Crimson Viper dual swords. We know Soul eventually acquires them, so she is the weapon's original owner. While fighting her, Soul uses a massive 2-handed broadsword, what looks to be the same mounted 2-handed sword seen on his back earlier. And in the actual boss encounter, Soul has an ally. The dialogue in the trailer gives us a bit of insight into the story connections of each boss. Each one prior seemed to be spouting lines of dialogue directly at Soul. In this battle, the back and forth between the boss and Soul's apparent ally seems to be full of rich context and history.
I would give everything to the great and merciful lady!
This was my mistake. I have to make it right.
Puppet woman! You damn puppet! Just so go away!
Is this ally/support mechanic going to be a permanent fixture like Atreus and Freya were to Kratos in God of War? Or will an ally occasionally work with Soul in only some specific boss fights? I'm thinking the latter, as the game seems to be a lone wolf/western type of story, where Soul is on an isolated campaign of him against an all-out evil world, only sprinkled with some seldom allies along the way. This ally, though, moves like a feather blowing through a gentle breeze, and she wields a pipa, a traditional plucking Chinese instrument to deflect the serpent's attacks. I love how hard sgame is flexing here, incorporating their own culture into this beautiful looking game. And then finally, Soul rips the mechanical circular saw from this demonic boss. This has to be a secondary edge weapon, and probably the coolest one to boot seen so far, and raises it high above. Is Soul going to be a merciful hero? Will he be taking prisoners of war? Hell no. He slams it down atop the baddie here, and the title card drops. But don't worry guys, yes, I know there was a huge chunk of additional gameplay that came after that featured none other than Donnie Yen himself. I'm going to speak more on the Kung Fu Master in my number 1 to this list, but for now, let's continue on to number 3. Number 3. Story. Phantom Blade's hook is of course the incredible gameplay, but the story is also doing something unique. What we know so far is that our protagonist, Soul, is framed for committing a crime against his own clan, the Order. This is why the opening segment of the pre-order trailer features the Hunter of the Order attacking Soul atop the horse carriage. Hunt flashes Soul, the bounty, and then the battle commences. We've seen the bounty numerous times in other trailers, so it's clear in addition to Soul's own quest, I'll get into that in a minute, there will be enemies and bosses that are in pursuit of him to fulfill the bounty. But there's also something going on that puts a timed urgency on Soul's journey. At an early point in the game, or sometime prior to it starting, Soul is injured and is healed by a magic wielder, a witch. I'm not sure if this is her here, but in the process of healing him, the sorceress plagues him, leaving him with only 66 days to live. Therefore, Soul's quest involves him trying to break this curse. A couple times during the trailer, we see Soul being partially incapacitated, with a curse surging within his heart. sgame has revealed there will be a gameplay implication linking the curse to player death. On Reddit, some have speculated that the 66-day curse will be reduced by a day each time Soul dies. But I'm having trouble believing this. I die plenty of times in games. I can't tell you how many times I died while battling the shell of the Great Sage and Erlang Shen in Black Myth Wukong, but I do know it was more than 66 times, and I feel that many people are in the same boat or worse as me. So that begs the question, if I died that much, at least 66 times, wouldn't that break any such mechanic? Now, sgame has shown there will be 3 different difficulty levels, and they're again promising this is not a punishing Souls-like game. But still, dying less than 66 times for me seems like an impossibility. Because of this, the dying mechanic and its connection to Soul's curse may not be so black and white. We'll have to wait and see to learn more. But a couple other story revelations were shown in the trailer. At least one of the antagonistic forces, or the main one of the game overall, is called the Mandate. Listen here.
The 3 of us spent most of our lives fighting for the Mandate. We thought ourselves heroes, only to realize it was all a lie. There's a great secret in this world. One beyond the grasp of ordinary men. A power beyond reason. Its source. It's from...
Perhaps Soul's own The Order is the nemesis of the Mandate, and the game looks to have the structure of a classic American Western. The woman talking to Soul says that nobody is left to stand up to evil. He is the only person remaining that will do good.
I never thought, in the end, you'd be the only one who still cares whether people live or die.
Now, Chinese culture has this architectural hero type as well. Think of movies like Jet Li's Hero, where his character, Nameless, moves against the king and his tirade of death and destruction that were all in the name of national unification. But for me, the story revealed in the trailer definitely had vibes of Clint Eastwood's American classics, and even the more recent outing of Hugh Jackman as the lone mutant who remains from the fabled X-Men, fighting against the mutant-hating Reavers in Logan. Now, although Soul is exuding the lone gunman type of vibe, we know he's going to meet and make some friends along the way. And that brings us to the next section. Number 2. NPCs and allies. There are clues to what a game's scope will be prior to launch, such as how does the combat look? How many weapons will the hero have at their disposal? How did its alpha and beta builds look? But a good hint at a game's targeted scale are how the other characters beyond the main protagonist appear to be developed. Now, I did just mention this game having a lone wolf vibe to it, but a hero's journey has critical steps along its path that involve others. And in the case of video games, how well crafted its NPCs are and how they interact with the protagonist are vitally important. A hero's journey within the story of a video game therefore needs to be filled with NPCs that not only offer support to the warrior at the center of its story, but a game with good scope and depth needs to offer the gamer NPCs that have their own meaningful arcs in isolation as well. And by the looks of it, sgame knows this, and as a result, devoted a chunk of the trailer to show them off. We had seen the female comrade to Soul before, but here in the pre-order trailer, she is shown in more depth. The two have a history with one another. They knew each other as children, and now that Soul is older and has displayed his feats of heroism, she remarks how she never would have suspected this of him. She is in disbelief that he remains as the only good person left in the land. As she ends with her remark about his 66-day curse, it's clear she has feelings for him. Not sure if sgame is putting love interest into their game, but if so, I'm down. Dipping into this NPC's background and uncovering what their prior connection/relationship to one another is definitely intriguing. Then we get a slew of diverse characters that give a quick remark, giving value to each of their own budding personalities. Now, I don't think Soul is going to be taking on allies or party members, as I think the game wants to stick to its lone hero type of feel. But if you listen to what each of these NPCs say and do, we're given hints as to how they'll be interacting with Soul. Quick Hand Zhang is the first.
Call me Quick Hand Zhang. I travel the land collecting rare treasures and relics.
He's obviously going to be our means at buying and trading with. I'm sure he's earned the nickname Quick Hand from all the people he's pickpocketed and ripped off. I cannot wait to see the upgrades and cosmetics we're going to be able to purchase from him. Then we're shown Forge, dressed quite appropriately to beat the extreme heat from smelting all day. She is going to be where we bring the 50+ weapons to upgrade, and maybe we'll be able to buy a few rare weapon creations of hers directly. Then we see the old coachman again. I'm really glad he survived when Soul flung him from the carriage earlier. Seems like he's going to fit the crazy old man spouting exposition and knowledge role quite well, all while perhaps being the means to Soul fast traveling through Phantom Blade's biomes. And then a cute kid that might be selling miscellaneous tools or knickknacks. A hammer and some wind chimes can be seen behind her. But after the title drop, we get the biggest surprise of the pre-order trailer, the one NPC that is surely going to stand out the most. Ip Man himself, Donnie Yen. Let's break down the final 2 minutes of the trailer with Donnie Yen's character, Mo Yuan, and his fight with Soul. Number 1. Phantom Blade's Ceiling. Just how good is sgame's outing going to be later this October? Most people who've been following the game's development period with interviews and the numerous trailers sgame has dropped are well aware of the care and quality being put into the game. By putting on the event they threw last year, S-Party, where numerous YouTubers and gaming outlets were invited to preview the game and be shown around the studio, it was clear the team was extremely confident in what they had. Then, with the last 50-day delay, pushing the game from an early September release to a late October drop, most of us were very accepting of the studio's decision. sgame's CEO, Soulframe, reassured fans the delay would provide the team the opportunity to give their game the last bit of polish before release. Not to mention them flexing incredibly hard with the nerve to push their release even closer to the massive release of GTA 6. Alright sgame, I see you guys. My point is, the bar was already incredibly high for what sgame had with Phantom Blade before last week's pre-order trailer dropped. Then, the internet exploded with what they revealed with the trailer's final 2 minutes, and that already established high bar was pushed even higher. Mo Yuan, the father figure type character to Soul, was finally unmasked to be none other than Donnie Yen. In terms of Chinese martial arts actors, he is right up there with the likes of the legacies of Chow Yun-fat, Jet Li, and even Jackie Chan. His most notable role, of course, is Ip Man, where he's had multiple films released. But you may know him for his roles in Blade 2 as a blood-sucking vampire that teamed up with Wesley Snipes, John Wick 4 for his role as one of the High Assassins, or my favorite, where he played Sky in the Chinese epic Hero. He's fought Jet Li multiple times on film, but his spear versus blade battle with Jet Li and Hero is truly special. Donnie Yen not only has a character role in Phantom Blade Zero as Soul's mentor/father figure, but he's also bringing his knowledge in the form of fight choreography and general consulting and quality control to the game. He's been working with sgame since 2023, providing his years of knowledge through his own fight choreography team, planning out all of Soul's Kung Fu Punk fighting style. And we see it clearly carry over to the pre-order trailer segment. The boss encounter is simply incredible. It's obviously not going to be a fight that actually puts Soul in danger, as we know Mo Yuan serves as Soul's mentor. Instead, the whole fight appears to be that of trial by literal fire, as flames engulf the two figures all around them. And it's awesome to see Donnie Yen perform some of his trademark moves and exude his overall style in the fight. Donnie Yen has such deep roots in Chinese martial arts movies, and his presence as both leading the fight choreography and being a main character in the game elevates Phantom Blade so much. When the game was originally revealed, there were many people who thought its fight choreography was too good to be true, that it was somehow being faked and wasn't actual gameplay. But now with the reveal of Donnie Yen and his team's involvement, I mean, just look at what they're capturing in their choreographed mocap sessions. We can finally understand the magnitude of what is being done by sgame. It's truly pushing the ceiling of what the game is going to be when it finally drops in late October. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the pre-order trailer for Phantom Blade Zero and what I put in this top 5, or anything else Phantom Blade Zero related. I'll jump down into the comments section to keep up the discussion with you all there. See you guys on the next one. Peace.